about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Houde.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here kicking off another episode of your favorite action motorsports radio show and a little bit more. And I got to tell you, we are coming out swinging in 2018. Man, how does it get better than kicking things off last week? You got Connor Daly and you've got Indy 500 champ Alexander Rossi. Then you come into this week and we got the winners lined up. Shane McElrath, your Supercross A1 winner in 250s. He is on the line. It's been a year since we've had him on air. And that's right, it was like literally 1 year ago to the day we had McElrath on air when he won A1 last year. Then we've got Kyle Pallin taking a podium in snowcross for Team LaValle on that Polaris Axis sled. And then we've got my good friend Brandon Schueler from Jagged X taking the overall victory this past weekend at the Best in the Desert Parker 250 out here in Parker, Arizona. So it is one heck of a show today with those guests. And then we've got my good friend Amy Houde, who is on the line with me. We are going to talk my race weekend. We're going to talk some Monster Jam. And I don't know, I think you had a little bit of fun slaying that monster truck this weekend, didn't you, Houde?
Oh, absolutely. It was my very first show of 2018 in Birmingham, Alabama. It was a wild ride. I'm so pumped for 2018 to start. It's going to be a good one, Jim. Yeah,
it's going to be a good one. This show is going to be a good one today. Once again, we got Shane McElrath on the line, Kyle Pallin, Brandon Schueler, tons of wins, tons of podiums, and a ton of fun coming at you today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. We will be back right after this break. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde. And we got a lot to talk about as far as our weekends go, but I guess welcome to 2018, Houde. I know you were like half dead last week and weren't able to call in, but obviously you were good enough to jump monster trucks over the weekend, so you got to be feeling a bit better.
Yes, I know. Jim, I moved back down to California, but back in Canada, there's like this epic plague of a flu going around. Because we had a cold spell and it was like minus 50 degrees. It was the record coldest Christmas of like all time. So you guarantee I was dead on the couch for a couple days. But I'm back. I bounced back, jumping back, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, man, my first weekend at Monster Jam, a little rough go. Like, I'm not going to lie. I've had some issues. Half of the issues were me. Getting those like first race jitters out of the way, but half the issues were my truck. I blew a tranny. I had some electrical issues, but I mean that's it happens. That's racing. It was my first weekend out, but I still had a blast. I had fun. Got to put some of my new tricks from Monster Jam University to work, and yeah, I ended up on a high note. I had a great last freestyle run. Yeah, it's good to be back. Very stiff competition. The Monster Jam Triple Threat East Tour, which I'm on, we got a really solid lineup of drivers. So it's not going to be a walk in the park, that's for sure. It's a lot tougher of a season this year.
Yeah. Well, and it's one thing like me. I race razors and trophy trucks, and the trophy truck's sitting in my garage. So we get it prepped. I can go out and test and practice, right? It's expensive to test and practice, but I can do it. Razors, I mean, we all know I got like a shop full of those things, right? I can go out anytime I want and practice in razors. You in motocross, you wanted to practice, you just jump on the dirt bike and go to the track, and boom, you're practicing. Like Monster Jam and Monster Trucks, like, it's not like you got one of those parked in the garage and just can go out and practice whenever you want. So, like, to me, part of it is, like, you're learning while you're in the truck in competition because you don't really – I mean, I know you go to Monster Jam University a bit, but it's not like it's all the time you have access to it 24/7. Like, it probably does take you around just to blow the cobwebs off, you know what I mean, and get back to used to things, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you talk about trophy truck being expensive to practice in. Like, I couldn't even imagine, the price of a monster truck. And we can't even just go build a track in the backyard, ship the monster truck down and go for a couple test wheelie hits. Like, it doesn't happen that way. And you're right, we are learning in the arenas every weekend. And then, take the fact that we try to set the track up exactly the same, but, obviously they're going to be a little bit different. The hits are going to be tapered a little bit differently. The truck's going to react to the dirt a little differently. So every weekend is like a new, it's like kind of starting from mid training point. But that's been the hardest transition, I think, Jim, is I've been really fortunate with dirt bikes. If there's something I wasn't good at, I'd get my dad to take me to the track when I was a kid, and I'd practice and practice until I got better. And it was up to me. And, the effort that you put in and the practice that you put in is kind of what you get out. And it's different this way, and it's hard. But, again, I'm in the entertainment industry as well as the motorsport industry. So as long as I make sure those fans have a great show and they leave happy and they leave stoked and it put on a great performance and a great, a face when you don't do the best that you want to do, but you still show your emotion and like that's what they remember. And that's the stuff that I feel like I always win every weekend, whether I have a bad one or not. Like the fans are really what make or break how we leave the weekend, I like to think. So yeah, I'm okay with it. And I know I have some bugs to work out, but you can only go up from here. And that's the best thing is I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to get stronger. I'm not driving the way I know I can, but at the same time, I'm driving within my means for my first show. A lot of these other drivers had a fall and winter shows. And this is the first time lining up since my last, race back in June or something. So I'm okay with where I am right now, and I'm ready to go up. I'm ready for this weekend. I'm ready to go to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, here's a question too. Like, you were at Monster Jam University once, I think, but you did race Terracross in a Razor. You did go to Dirtfish. Did any of that help you this year? Do you feel like you took anything away from that into the monster truck? Was any of it helpful? Uh-oh, and there she went. Oh, and here she is back. Drop the line there. But anyways, Amy, I was just saying.
Yeah, no.
Did you hear what I said?
I heard you all.
Okay.
And definitely, I liked it. Okay, so we adjusted the track this year for the Speedster Obstacle Race, which is the Polaris Razors we're driving. And we used to go up the log ride, and it was kind of, look cool. We went up these logs. But now we get to use the center pad and jump it. And I pretty much jumped over the Gravedigger driver in my first Speedster obstacle course. And I like to think that has to do with Terracross because, we have to we send it over these big jumps and, you get a lot of the handling down and the confidence to jump those things. And I have no problem. And yeah, the finish line jump is super fun to send it over and the crowd loves it. And I did feel a lot more comfortable in my racing. And I told you last year, the monster truck racing is where I had a lot of issues. It was really hard to make it past the first round. Very different than a dirt bike. Dirt bike just slamming it into the ruts, being very, very aggressive. And I couldn't really switch off that mindset of how I race a dirt bike. Dirtfish Rally really taught me to be calm and cool and collective and, be very patient with your vehicle. And man, Jim, that helped me so much in my racing. I felt like this is my best weekend of racing I've had so far. It's cool. It's cool. Every single discipline that you learn, every single, type of sport and off training that you have, as much as you may not think it's helping in some aspect or another, whether it's just seat time and confidence, behind the wheel, something else adds to your ability out on the track on any discipline. I even think that, stuff I learned with Dirtfish would help me with motocross. Even just the concept of being very mindful and very patient, it helps no matter what you do. So it's pretty dope. I'm excited. And I'm excited to go back to Dirtfish. We're going back at the end of the month.
Yeah, you and I are going back in a couple of weeks. Should be a ton of fun. I know I had some fun this weekend. It was very short-lived fun, but everybody's wanting to know how I did this weekend in the Razor. And so this race, it wasn't like a formal star car. It was more we were using it as a test. And so I was kind of one of those where either I was going to win or I was going to break. You know what I mean? And we ended up having a catastrophic failure 30 miles in. We blew a belt, but it literally it blew so bad that it cracked the case. And so it was, so we were the car's still in really good shape and it's not a big bill to fix it, but it was just one of those, it was just a fluke deal that happened 30 miles in. And instead of trying to limp it another 200 miles, we just called it a day and now we'll be ready for the Mint. But funny story, I get a text from Jackie, who you and I both know she's crazy, right? She decides.
Oh yeah, that goes wild.
She decides at the last minute, it's like the day before or the night before the race, and I get a text from Jackie, and she's in Parker with her dirt bike, and she decided she was going to Iron Woman this 250-mile race, and she decided that morning she was going to do it the day before the race. So she brings her truck to Parker. She has no pit crew. She calls a friend. Somehow they're going to pit for her. She doesn't have numbers or nothing on her bike, so she shows up at my race shop, and we're applying numbers on her dirt bike with black duct tape, and I'm like, this is so Jackie. And then she goes out, and you know what? She Iron Woman's it and finishes. So that girl, I swear, she never ceases to blow my mind.
Nope, that is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I love her. I saw a portion of that on social media, and you know what? You want to shake your head, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's Ducky. Okay, like it doesn't even faze me.
No.
I know that's something she would do. It's definitely something I would do too. Like I was always a last minute-er, like the night before a race. Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go drive 7 hours to get to this race over here. Like I post on Facebook because all the eager beavers are on Facebook, and yeah, I'm a last minute-er. Like that's where the big adventures lie, Jim. That's where the memories are made. Remember, you remember that one time, like 2 hours before I decided to go Iron Woman the Parker? Like, yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, it was so rad, and like she was seriously she's Jackie. She's always got a smile. She finished. Props to her. Big shout out to I guess Bro Jack on the finish at Parker and Iron Womaning it. But we got to take a short break. We come back. We got our good friend Kyle Pallin from Team LaValle. He is calling in, talking about his big podium finish over the weekend at Canterbury. That's coming up next on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Houde? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Houde 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, joined on the line by Team LaValle's Kyle Pallin. How's everything going, Kyle?
Hey, Kyle.
I'm doing awesome.
Well, yeah.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing solid, man. We're both in the Southwest. You're up there. I don't know. Has things warmed up there in the Midwest yet? I was there over Christmas, and Amy was just saying in Winnipeg it was like negative 50 one day. I know in Minnesota it was like negative 20. I don't know how are things shaping up right now.
Yeah, I am so excited to get out and practice this afternoon. It's going to be a high of 39 here today, so honestly it's going to feel like T-shirt weather. So I am. The sun is shining, and I'm excited to get out there. And
is that in Fahrenheit or Celsius, Kyle?
That's Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad then. That's a heat wave you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, considering like the last couple weeks, like the highs have been below 0 or single digits, like this feels so good right now.
I was going to say Canterbury's the one that's interesting because at least the fans can be inside and watch the race, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the great thing about Shakopee. Like normally at least one of the nights is super cold, and this year Saturday was a little bit warmer, but the wind was up, and honestly, I was colder on Saturday than I was on Friday when it was below 0, and so it was chilly all weekend long. But yeah, for the fans, Shakopee's a really nice stop on the tour because of how much indoor seating's available, and I love the snow, and I wish that we could race in warmer temperatures for the fans, but that's about as good as it gets there at Shakopee.
Yeah. Is there ever a point when it's just like, I mean, you're a rider and you get, obviously you get heated up, and I know you're sweating underneath all your gear and stuff like that, but is there ever a point where you go, man, this is like almost too cold to race? I mean, is it ever got to that point and then the sleds start, like, it gets so cold they're not running right? I mean, do you ever fight that?
Really the only thing when, the one thing that really bothers me if it gets extremely cold is my hands. Cause I mean, we're just wearing moto gloves. So, they're super thin and I can't stand to wear a thicker glove cause it, then you don't feel the handlebars as well. And the thing that it does to the sleds too is if it's calm and it's that cold out, all that snow dust in the air can start messing with your carburetors a little bit, and I've had it where my throttle will actually start kind of sticking on the lower end, so that can be a little bit tricky too once you're out there because you're expecting it to stop in the corner or whatever, and it's almost like you're driving your dirt bike or your sled with the idle turned way up, and it just doesn't want to stop moving, so that can make it a little bit tricky too.
Yeah. Well,
there's no temperature that motorsports people cannot handle. I remember doing a 12-hour enduro race in the winter. It's called the Numb Bum. Okay, Numb Bum, great bracket name. Whoever created that name is probably genius. But it was like minus 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is Celsius. This is almost like record-breaking cold as well.
You Canadians, you don't understand. We don't know how cold that is.
Once you hit minus 30, so minus 30 degrees Celsius and minus 30 Fahrenheit is actually the same.
Okay,
so
I'm learning something from you today.
Yeah. Think of that. But you just it's like mind over matter. It doesn't even matter how cold it is. Do you, Kyle, ever run heated bars? Like I know, in ice racing, we have heated handlebars now. So your ends, you don't have to wear the heated muff pads or the heated gloves because like I like a nice thin glove where I feel like I still can actually feel the handlebars, and feel that clutch and stuff. But we run actual heated bars, and I think it's a huge help.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I had my hand warmers on my sled cranked wide open all weekend, and I know like some guys, it hasn't bothered me to the point where I've needed it, but like Amy, how you were saying your clutch, I usually keep my index finger out on my brake the whole time, and some guys will have to, for that one finger, they'll have to put a heater, wrap it around their brake lever because that one finger will freeze. And,
no way! So, I did not know that.
Wow,
that's crazy.
So
for them winter sports.
So fortunately, I haven't run into that issue, but no, I mean when it's super cold like that, below 0, I definitely have my handlebar heaters going because they do make a big difference. Between that and hand guards, it really helps a lot. I've done it before where my handlebar heaters weren't working and my hands will just freeze so much faster. And it just, it gets tough because it's almost like wearing that thicker glove. Like, your hands go numb and you lose the feeling of bars and the levers, and it makes it a lot harder to control the machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got to talk 2018, man, or 2017/2018. I mean, back on the box, that's got to feel good. I know you guys off to a little bit of a slow start there with Team LaValle, but it's got to feel pretty good, like you got some momentum building now, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, our season opener was pretty rough for the whole team in general, but the last couple of races have been much better for myself. Just putting in, some good rides, and it felt so good to just be back on the box. And really, our announcer there, Kate Osborne, she asked, like, what was the difference between tonight and, some of the past races that I've been in already this season. And I just said, I went out there with the mindset of, I have nothing to lose. And I was thinking about that, and I've heard it countless times before, but it's easy to forget. You can either, whether you're playing a sport or racing or whatever, I mean, it's a lot easier to have success, I think, when you race for the win or versus when, say, you're racing to not lose or, protecting something. And I just told myself I have nothing to lose, and it just Shakopee turned out to be a really good weekend for us overall.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I think is really exciting about Pro Open right now is a couple of years ago, I mean, you could almost read the writing on the wall who was going to get the win. And now, like, it's really exciting from a fan standpoint because, like, I look at it, it's a crapshoot, dude. There's like 5 or 6 of you guys that every single weekend can take a win. That's got to be really exciting for you guys to have that competition level in Pro Open now where everybody's on an equal playing field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know what you're saying. Like, I mean, a few years back, I think a lot of the guys like that, whether they want to, deny it or not, I mean, there's always that in the back of their minds, like, oh, where's Tucker at on the track? And, last year we saw so many different guys win, and it's just, I think what it's done for everybody in the field is kind of given them a little bit more confidence in saying, hey, like, I can do this. I do stand a chance at winning, one of these races or some of these races. And so I think it's just, like you said, I think it's made the sport way more exciting here to watch these last couple of years, just because you never know who's going to take it, because there are 5, 6, 7 guys who are all, top caliber riders who can win on any given night with a good start.
Yeah. Well, how has it been? I know, it's one of those where I asked you last year, and it seems like it's kind of been a little bit of an evolutionary process. But, I know for the longest time, like the Polaris sleds, I mean, you guys even talking with Levi, like it was the same thing every year. They may refresh a little bit of body work, but it was like the same sled. But then all of a sudden, a couple of years back, the Axis chassis got kind of thrown into things. I mean, and then it was kind of like a reboot. Like you guys had to relearn a bit. I mean, how are you feeling about, the development of your guys' race sleds now?
It has been kind of a bunch of different changes here these last 2 years or so, with between Polaris bringing on the Axis platform and now with the big rule changes implemented this season, where there's a lot more restrictions. So I mean, it's been a lot of different things to get used to for us as riders, but overall, I mean, I've been more happy this year with my sled, than any year before. I just feel super comfortable out there, and that's the thing. Like, like when you're not comfortable on a machine, whether it's just say tuning your suspension or it could be the smallest little thing. It's tough to go out there and just ride, at your top level and. Just between the big changes that Polaris has made these last couple of years, and always just searching and testing for new ways to feel more comfortable and get faster. I think that's been a big difference for me, is just in the level of confidence I have, like in my machine and my equipment when I'm out on the track. Because as you know, I mean, in motorsports and in racing, everybody's pushing to the limit. I mean,
yeah.
You're always on the edge. And the more you can be comfortable being right on that edge, the more helpful it makes it, because things can get sketchy,
Yeah. Well, we got about 30 seconds left, but I got to ask you, I know Levi made a big announcement this last week. He's backflipping or doing something at the Super Bowl. Any itch on your part
Yep.
to take part in that, or are you just going to be hanging out watching him and supporting from the side?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to be a cheerleader that weekend.
Awesome.
If there's something that I can do to help him, I'll gladly pitch in. But I'm really excited for him, and that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome. I think it's definitely fitting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's got up his sleeve. But I appreciate you calling in, Kyle, man. Congrats on the podium, and hopefully we can get you back on, after next round with I guess a victory interview, right?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Every time people come on this show, they usually follow up with another victory. Isn't that right, Jim?
It is. It's like I'm just telling you, there's something to it. So hopefully it rings true with you, buddy.
Well, I sure hope so. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'll try to keep up the tradition.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Perfect.
Take it easy, buddy.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you
Thanks.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound of the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde, joined on the line by Shane McElrath, your A1 winner. Welcome to the line, Shane.
Woo. Hey, man.
You there, Shane? I don't know. We got him on air. We got it locked in, but there's there we go.
There we go.
You disappeared.
All right, we disappeared. That's not a good thing, man. But no, I'm glad you are on the line with us. I know I look back and it's like literally a year to the day since I had you back on last year. So I don't know. There's something about you in A1 that means good things.
Yeah, it's I mean, A1 is, I feel, like one of the biggest races, and I like the challenge of it and the intensity of it, and I just like to try and start out on a good foot, and that's really what we work for this off season.
Yeah, well, I know, like A1, I mean, and Amy and I talk about this a lot. There's a lot in the offseason that builds, and it seems like there's always somebody that jumps out at A1 that you weren't expecting. And, and I know you've, been in this a long time, and I felt like last year that was like your coming out party almost, and everybody knew you were fast, but last year it was like, man, Shane's here. And we saw it all last year. I mean, and then coming into this year, everybody wondered, and then you came out, and it was like a statement again. I mean, it's got to feel pretty good to have that momentum heading into 2018.
Yeah, it really does. It's cool to see everything that we've done over the last few years since we've started working with Tyler Rattray, and now we're down at Baker's factory, still under Tyler, but even under Alden's wing too. It's cool to see that everything that we work on during the week, during the off season, just really showed, and that's what was really cool. It's like we were consistent with our training. We were just going through with it week in and week out, and then to show up and race and to feel just like I do in practice and feel strong and feel fit. It felt really good.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of hype with the racers with A1, but I mean, I think there's an equally amount of pressure for everybody behind the scenes, and even the fans in the crowd and the fans behind the scenes with the fantasy supercross leagues, and as A1, it's anybody's go, and it really sets the bar for my fantasy supercross league, and I know Jim's fantasy supercross league, but it's kind of like, it's almost like the pressure's off now. You got to get that A1 out of, kind of shake the cobwebs off and get it out of the way. There's a lot of hype, but it's still kind of just the opener, it's the icebreaker, and it's a long season. And the West Coast is an extremely competitive field this year. And you got the number one plate. You got the target on your back. Like, how do you like that pressure?
Yeah, I am excited for it this time. It's last year I was not really expecting what I did. I mean, I went into A1 with the goal of just wanting to get my first win in that season, and I ended up winning, having the red plate, and everything happened a lot quicker than I was ready for. So, I mean, this year, I mean, at A1, it's a big race. I mean, everybody's they've been bench racing all off season, and there's 7 or 8 guys that get paid a lot of money to win, and there's 7 or 8 guys that can win too. So, I mean, it's a big class this year, and it's really gonna play out all the way till Vegas, and I'm excited for where we are. We're in a good position. We feel good, and I think we're going to continue to grow.
Yeah,
right on.
And what could you take away from last year? Because I mean, last year, like you said, you got your first win. You were on the box a lot last year. I mean, you were so close to a title. I mean, what can you take away from last year? Because you just said you weren't really expecting what came last year. I mean, what can you take away and apply to this year to hopefully put you on the top at the end of the season?
Really just not settle. Last year it was easy to kind of get in the tunnel vision and kind of what needed to be done. And I was more focused on, I just want to just want to get a certain position or whatever. And but now it's like I just need to be consistent and be in the hunt. And when the checkered flag flies, I mean, I want to be close to the front. And like I said, I feel really good and strong. And if I apply myself every week, then I think we're going to be in a really good position. And it's just going to take 110% effort every time I line up.
Yeah. Well, I know the off season too. You had a thumb injury, and then you took some time off, and you got married. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How did that time off and, and just letting your thumb heal and that, I mean, do you feel like that really kind of recharged the batteries because you were able to just kind of check out for a while and just, be you and live life?
Yeah, it was actually really good. Going back to 2016 when I crashed at Southwick, I started back riding and training for Supercross at the end of outdoors, just because I'd already been off the bike for a long time and I'd been hurt. So we were really just trying to play catch up. And I went a full year of training and putting in the work with maybe about 2 to 3 weeks off all year. So it was really good because it was getting to the point where I needed a mental break. I needed a physical break. And as bad as it is, the injury was good for me. It's like, okay, I can take a step back. I can live life a little bit and not be on myself so hard. So I did get married, and it's just been amazing because now after we got back training for Supercross, it's like we've been fresh the whole time. We've been mentally in a good state, and just everything has been clicking.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and you guys have there in Temecula, right? You guys have an all-new training facility, like a test facility there right close to KTM, right? How has that been? That's got to be a little bit of a change.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see what KTM has done. And I'd heard a little bit of it last year, but they were really keeping it under the radar. I mean, they have went above and beyond on that place, and it's private. It's tucked in behind some businesses, and it's a really good spot for what they're going to do and the vision that they have. And so it's maybe a block away from the KTM shop itself, so it's very convenient, and it's cool to see KTM doing something like that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, KTM's been on the top and, in both divisions for quite some time and always fighting for that title. But, I mean, for them to make an investment like this, I mean, that's saying something. It's a statement, hey, we're here to stay.
Yep. Yeah, KTM, they're not taking anything lightly, and they really want to win. They want to put their best foot forward, and it's awesome to be a part of it. It was cool for Marv to win the big class, and just I mean, that's what we train for during the week. That's why we do what we do, and because we win as a team and as a manufacturer, so it's cool.
Yeah. And I know you guys have some weather coming into SoCal right now, and and you were telling me that didn't know if you were riding today, but I mean, Supercross is a grind. I mean, it is a grind of a season. What does a typical week in between rounds look like for you? I mean, a lot of times you guys check out Saturday night after the event. You're probably either on a plane early Sunday morning or Saturday late. I mean, what does a typical week look like in lead up? I mean, do you get any rest or any time off? I mean, because I know this whole thing is just an absolute grind on you guys.
Yeah, it is nice today because it really just changes the schedule up, and that's what's cool is we don't necessarily miss today of riding. We'll just make it up Wednesday and Thursday or something. So during the week in between rounds, we'll ride 3 days a week, and really just try and maintain what we've built up in the off season. And that's what, just like in Saturday morning in practice, I crashed, and just I'm still pretty sore from that. So it's like it was kind of nice to have today off of riding. We got up early yesterday and went and rode and beat the rain. But yeah, I mean, right now everything we do is kind of centered around the weekend and what do we need to do to maintain our levels.
Yeah. Well, and, looking longer term, obviously, you've got the red plate now. I mean, looking at this season and then, farther on down the road, I mean, what are some of the goals for you? Obviously, you want that 250 title at some point. I mean, would you like at some point to move on to 450? I mean, what's the plans for you, I guess in the near term and then, a couple years out?
Yeah, the 450 class is ultimately the goal and to be at the top step of that. And the 250 class is a good stepping stone for that, and it's a good thing that KTM has. The TLD team has the lights push now, and it's cool to just be involved in that. And to, like I said, Baker's Factory is now a KTM and Husqvarna facility, so we're all working together, and we're all working towards the top. And this year, I just want to focus on one day at a time and one round at a time. And I'm excited to go race this weekend. And like I said, I just want to show up and give it my best effort and apply myself. And I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah. Well, Amy, you got anything for Shane before we let him go?
No, I mean, it's just a long season. Stay healthy, stay aggressive, and I think, obviously 2018 is going to be your year, man. You have one in the books, and now I think you have the confidence and, the ability to make it all the way through. And you're on top of my fantasy Supercross league, so please don't let me down.
Thank you. I'll try my hardest.
Yep. Awesome, man.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Shane, man. Congrats on the win, and hopefully, you can stay up on top of the rankings. We'll have you back on here in a couple of weeks.
I'm gonna try.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Take it easy, my friend.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Y'all too. See ya. Bye-bye.
All right, Shane McElrath, your winner. I don't know, man. I love Shane. He's so humble, Amy. I mean, here's a guy who last year came in. I mean, he's worked through the rankings. I mean, this guy has never had anything given to him, right? And he's worked his ass off to get where he's at, and he's so humble and just, every race at a time, just looking, at the next one. And I don't know, you got to appreciate a guy like that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that he's in the right place this year. And, he said last year you get the red plate and you're like, oh, what now?
Yeah.
But this year he's used to it. He's comfortable. And it's cool. It's funny because I see all these photos on, I browse Racer X on Monday mornings, and it's funny, like, these boys aren't boys anymore, Jim. They're men. And, even Adam and Aaron Plessinger, like, they're kind of some young guns coming through. Shane, obviously a bit older, but they look like men now. They look like they got it all figured out. They're not rookies. This is not their first year racing Supercross where the lights, they're blinded by the lights and the cameras and the spotlight. And, like, they're settled in their place. And it looks like it. You can tell it by what talking to them. You can obviously see it by their riding performance, and it's cool, man. It's a cool transition to see your friends and these riders you grew up watching grow up and really own their places as professional athletes.
Yeah, I agree. It's really cool to see kind of that evolutionary process. But we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, I don't know, we got lots of news to talk about. In hour number 2, we got Brandon Schueler, your UTV winner, on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
You've seen their movies.
Man, I'm going to be late for work again. That's the fifth time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
You've probably heard a song or two.
Here's an extra one. Don't give it to your children.
Now, don't miss your chance to see this Grammy Award-winning comic duo, Cheech and Chong, at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Who is it?
Dave, man, open up.
Dave? Dave's not here.
Tickets on sale now for Cheech and Chong performing live Saturday, January 27th on the Blue Water Amphitheater stage. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time. Advanced general admission tickets $45. VIP tickets just $65. General admission seating can bring your own chairs. Must be 21 or older to attend the show. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase now at the Blue Water Casino gift shop for Cheech and Chong live.
Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Coming soon to Podcast One, Red Circle Sports with Dennis Miller. Get your weekend sports roundup every Tuesday exclusively from Podcast One and comedian Dennis Miller. He's going through and circling the most exciting headlines so you don't have to, and bringing you a lot of laughs along with them. Be sure to download new episodes of Red Circle Sports with Dennis Miller every Tuesday on the Podcast One app, Apple Podcasts, or at podcastone.com.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, and got to give a shout-out to one of our amazing supporters here on the show, our good friends at GenuinePolarisParts.com. And you know what? It is officially winter, if you didn't know by what Amy's told you, I've told you, and Kyle Pallin's told you. It is cold out there, and I hope you have winterized your Polaris RZR. GenuinePolarisParts.com has you covered with storage bags, cargo boxes, filters, oil change kits, and much, much more. Of course, if you're looking for Genuine Polaris parts, there's obviously no better choice than GenuinePolarisParts.com. The assurance and dependability is in the name. They make it easy and stress-free by having all the diagrams associated with the year, make, and model of your unit. And once you narrow down your search, you'll be able to see diagrams that will let you visually see the parts that you need to be replaced, which eliminates the headache of second-guessing your part, trying to explain which part you need over the counter at the dealership. Go to GenuinePolarisParts.com/Jim Beaver, and you'll be able to redeem a special offer that's exclusive to only listeners of this show. Again, it's GenuinePolarisParts.com/Jim Beaver. You'll get your parts delivered directly to your door with GenuinePolarisParts.com. And speaking to Kyle Pallin earlier, obviously he took a podium, but we had quite a few podium finishers in snowcross. That is right. They were at Canterbury. That's the big one. And our good friend Cody Cam walking away with a victory. I got to tell you, Amy, Cody is he's putting in the work, man. It's good to see him on top of the box.
Yeah, I mean, we always are rooting for our friends. And that's the hardest thing is that we have so many friends in all these different sports. It's like, which one do you root for, right? Yeah. I don't want my one friend to be my other friend. But Cody Cam, obviously a little place in my heart. He's my boy. I love that dude. We have him on the show all the time. And, and he's a tough worker, man. He puts in the work, and he is, busting his butt and doing such good things for Monster Energy and, doing such good things for his team. And he's always the underdog, I feel, Jim. Like, he's always struggling with something. He's never really the front runner. You're always rooting for him to come kind of from behind. But he's always there, and he's just he needs to make his break. I know he's young too. Like, you guys got to realize, like, he's a young
Super
pup,
young.
not a rookie, obviously. But I'm waiting for Cody to break through and kind of, get those couple wins under his belt to really solidify that confidence that you really need to be able to lead the pack of a championship for a year. And that's really what it takes. When you're always, the hunter and, never the hunted, it's hard to break that barrier of becoming that leader who leads the season. And there's a lot of pressure. I think it takes a mature rider. Is that okay to say? Like, not someone who's old by all means, but it's a new thing to be the hunted. Just like we're talking to McElrath, it takes a couple years under your belt to really understand the pressures and be okay with the pressures of having the red plate.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, Cody Cam taking away one of the victories. And we had Tucker Hibbert on the box on Sunday there at Canterbury. And we got to take a short break. We come back. Lots more coming at you. Hour number 2 on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Houde? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Houde 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We also had some Best in the Desert happening over the weekend. Obviously, I was in competition there. These results being brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, letting you know that anywhere was possible. But overall, unofficial results, I guess they're kind of official, kind of unofficial. But those tracker boxes, they still got to monitor those. But Brandon Schueler walking away with a win in his Polaris Razor. We had Mark Burnett in second in Turbo, Logan Gastel there in third. Brandon Sims, one of our regular guests here, he was in fourth, and Jason Murray in fifth. And that was your UTV Pro Production Turbo, the big class. Also had Caden Wells taking the win in the NA class, which is for naturally aspirated UTVs. Mike DeLay, he finished up second there in that class. And then looking at the motorcycles, that is right, we did have some motorcycles racing there. Your overall winner in Pro Open, Skylar Houde, Brody Hania in second, and we had Eric Kirby in third. So that is your top 3 in motorcycles. It was a solid weekend out there in the desert. I don't know, didn't go so well for me, but it's kind of one of those. This is like a weird race, Amy. 250 miles, like the middle of. It's like being a sprint / endurance race, if that makes any sense. It's like the happy medium right there, right? It takes you like 3 or 4 hours, but it's not like you're on the bike.
And you need to know when to sprint and when to, exuberate your endurance, and that's the hardest part. Is people try to, pin it to win it right off the bat. Where, there's if you've done it once before, you kind of know where you can relax and where you got to give her and where you got to relax and where you got to conserve. So, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it's
Never
like
mind in the desert. I wouldn't even know which way is up. I don't know which way is left or right when I'm sitting in my own living room.
Yeah, we got to get you out to one of these desert races on a bike. You and Jackie got to team up or something, man. We got to make that deal happen. But we're going to take a short break. We come back. We got our boy Joe Duncan. He's calling in. X Games is coming up, and he is the man behind it. And we just had some massive X Games announcements with some additional athletes being invited for snow bike and snow cross. So looking forward to talking with Joe Duncan about that right now after this break. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You've seen their movies.
Man, I'm gonna be late for work again. That's the fifth time I've been late this week. It's only Tuesday, man.
You've probably heard a song or two.
Here's an extra one. Don't give it to your chillers.
Now, don't miss your chance to see this Grammy Award-winning comic duo, Cheech and Chong, at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Who is it?
Dave, man, open up.
Dave? Dave's not here.
Tickets on sale now for Cheech and Chong performing live Saturday, January 27th on the Blue Water Amphitheater stage. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time. Advanced general admission tickets $45. VIP tickets just $65. General admission seating can bring your own chairs. Must be 21 or older to attend the show. Visit BlueWaterFun.com or purchase now at the Blue Water Casino gift shop for Cheech and Chong live.
Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, and this is our segment brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters, who start not only the Polaris Razor Star Car and all of my razors, but every razor in the Terracross Championship. Check them out if you need a starter for your UTV, your snowmobile, or anything power sports related. But I don't know where the heck Joe's at, but we do have some X Games to talk about, so if he calls in, great. If he doesn't, well, it is what it is. But so, Amy, have you looked at this X Games? We got so many friends on this list of X Games athletes for Aspen here in a week or so. Have you looked at the list recently? They just updated like a couple days ago.
No, I haven't yet. I haven't even been on the internet, Jim. I've been in limbo, been flying around, just got in really late to California yesterday, slept my day away. A little bit of recovery time, but no, enlighten me.
Okay,
give me a rundown, and
so,
I can give you my first honest opinion.
Okay, so we've got basically 4 different competitions that include an engine. That's all we're going to talk about. Now, we'll save the other stuff for Project Action or something. So, snow bike best trick. This is the new one, right? So we've got like Jacko Strong, who obviously he's going to be there. Heath Frisbee, he's a well-known name. Brett Turcotte, doesn't surprise me. Kyle DeMello. Kyle DeMello is in snow bike best trick, and I know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I saw that one. Obviously, we got Rob Adelberg. We got Ethan Roberts. I mean, we got some well-known quantities. I would think that Jacko Strong right now is probably got a leg up. But I saw Kyle DeMello, and I'm like, man, that was one I wasn't expecting to see pop up on their snow bike best trick. I didn't even realize that he was training for snow bike.
No, I had no idea either. I know he's been battling a knee injury still too. But I mean, that guy's a machine. He's Canadian. What can I say? He's going to be there, be square.
It's all about the Canadians, right? So, yeah. So then we got snow bike racing, snow bike cross. Then looking down this list, I mean, we got these are just new names that were added. I mean, some of them, we got Nolan Hepner. He was solid last year. Josh Hill. I know we're going to try and get him on air before X Games. I need to reach out to Josh. I think it'd be phenomenal to hear his story and transition from like Supercross and motocross to snow bike. But Axel Hodges, obviously he's a front runner.
Yep.
Brock Hoyer, I mean, this dude, you're a fool to bet against Brock at this point on anything on a snow bike. Yeah. Cody Cam.
And anything in general, that Brock's been stepping it up too. Like last year he was extremely successful. I think Brock is going to be one of our front runners, Jim.
Oh, absolutely. Like that guy, to me, it's his event to lose. And I hate to say that, but he's that good on a snow bike.
No, it's true.
Cody Cam qualified in. I'm excited. He's such a talent. We talked about it in the last segment. I'm really, really excited to see what he does on a snow bike because he's just going to send it. Like there's no F's given with Cody Cam. Like this dude is winner wad, and I'm really excited to see what happens at X Games.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool, and I love to see the Californians actually battle it out with the Canadians or the snow crossers, if you will. I still call them Canadians because, I mean, we're the land of the snow. But, it's, again, I've said this so many times on the show, and I hate to be a broken record, but Axel Hodges just blew me out of the water how good he, was doing. Unfortunately, yes, he crashed, like, last lap, was it, or something. But for a kid from SoCal, never being on a snowmobile in his life and probably being only ever see snow by going to the mountains to go snowboarding, I was so impressed with his riding. It kind of made me think completely differently about snow bikes and just that, anybody who's good on a dirt bike would be able to be very successful on a snow bike. And he just completely shaked the playing field, and it was super cool. So, it makes for great racing like that. I love when it's anybody's game and kind of, who you pictured in your mind to win doesn't, and the underdogs prevail. Like, I love that stuff. Gets me going.
Yeah, and Cody Cam, Cody Matchuk, he was a guy that Thacker and we'd never even heard of until the qualifier last year. And this dude came in and just dominated everybody, and Paul Thacker and I were looking at each other like, who the heck is this guy? But that's what's great about a new sport is you got a guy like Cody Matchuk who nobody really knows about, and he's so uber talented. He comes in and just takes the world by storm. And I think that's what's so great about having a brand new discipline. Like you get those guys like a Cody Matchuk who now all of a sudden is, one of the faces of an industry, and 12 months ago the dude was an unknown.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like I said, it's these underdogs that come through that make the racing so interesting because it breaks it up, it shakes it up, and it's nice to see somebody who doesn't just run away with everything and that you put all your money on. And I love seeing new talent. I love seeing new people come through the woodworks who put a run for the money for these guys who've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. And then a couple others we'll talk about real quick. Jake Scott, obviously cool to see him back in X Games. I mean, this is a guy who made a career on snowmobiles. He was a factory LaValle rider for Polaris for a while, but now he's making the transition to snow bike. That's pretty solid to see that. And and then Darren Mees. I know Darren. He's kind of like, I got a soft spot for the Mees clan. So great to see.
Right?
Yeah, Darren Mees there. But it looks like we got Joe Duncan calling in. Joe, welcome to the show, man. We got like 3 minutes left in this Optimus segment, but we're talking some snow bikes and some X Games.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing because I just got off the phone with X Games, and for running snow events out there, the weather's sure not cooperating. We're hoping a couple of these big storms roll in and pound some snow out there. The old Buttermilk Mountain and Aspen Ski Co. are really pounding out the snowmaking for us. I was on a conference call, and she ain't pretty out there, but we're going to pull her off and make it happen.
Which is funny because we just talked to Kyle Pallin, and he's in Minnesota. You guys have been just like fighting frigid temps and everything else.
Yeah, it was 60 some degrees in Denver last week.
Holy crap!
And looks like they're gonna have that this week, 1 or 2 days. And then hopefully it starts to get cool and some storm and some moisture coming in out there. But Now we've been on calls here last week or so, putting together the details. We got the snow bike cross guys all out ready to get in training. A bunch of them are coming here to ERX. Again, no snow anywhere. 2 of the training facilities out west, just no snow. So they're finding other places to go ride. And, we're getting close and getting crazy.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of places to ride snow bikes, but not a lot of tracks with snow right now where you can actually train for X Games. I mean, because the backcountry stuff, while it's fun, it doesn't necessarily cross over fully to racing a snow bike on a groomed track at X Games.
No, it's a little bit different animal, but kind of the same concept. And the goal is to try and make it where you can go ride the backcountry or you can come and race. You know, you don't get so far apart from the vehicles that you're riding that you can do both, and that's hopefully a key to get the sport to grow and be able to do a lot more with the sport than dividing it up into little tiny segments.
Yeah, well, we only got about a minute left, but I got to ask you. I mean, you're a guy who obviously you were behind Snowcross originally. You've helped create Terracross. Now you're kind of behind the snow bike movement. I mean, where do you see this sport? You know what I mean? A year or two from now. I mean, do you see us having a true snow bike national championship or something?
I do. There's some work to be done. There's no doubt about it. There's all kinds of different ways to build the sport, and one of the ways is not to grow so fast. And this sport is growing super fast, and we got to be able to get these athletes and these sponsors and these manufacturers kind of all on the same page, so the thing has the snow bike cross has continual growth and funding and be able to build it into a sport. And with the speedy growth can come a speedy demise. And we're trying to learn from all the mistakes we made in snowcross and terracross and everything else we've done in 20-some years. We're trying to lay that system out. So not only does it grow here in the U.S., but also in Canada and across the world. We're actually working some athletes in Japan, Australia, Russia, Sweden, Finland, Slovenia, Italy, and working on branching this snow bike cross out around the globe.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Joe. We got to wrap up this Optimist segment, but much appreciated for calling in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Joe. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, joined on the line by my Polaris Razor factory racing teammate and winner of the Parker 250 this past weekend, Brandon Schueler with Jagged X Racing. How's everything going, my friend?
Oh, everything's going great, man. We're back at the shop and getting ready for the next one. So everything's going awesome.
Yeah, well, things we had you on air. What was it? I think right after the 1,000. But I got to tell you, like, things are pretty damn shiny at Jagged X right now. Like, you guys. You won the Baja 1000, you won the Parker 250, you won one championship. Is it 2 championships? I don't know. You guys just won a whole lot in the past 6 months.
Yeah, we're sitting 3 in a row right now. So we won the Baja 1000, then finished off the Best in Desert Series with the Pahrump 250, won that one, and then obviously kicked off the season with the win at Parker 250 for Best in Desert. We ended up getting, what was it? We took second place in both series last year, tied for first in score, and then lost by default of points, and then we were only a handful of points out of first for Best in Desert. So we had a pretty good end of the season and a phenomenal start to the start of the season. So, like I said, can't be happier.
Yeah, well, and I know Jagged X too. I mean, you guys, you were one of the first legit real teams in the sport of UTV racing. I mean, you've been here since the beginning with Polaris Razor. You are the oldest factory team. But I know there was a point there where you guys had some struggles about a year or so back. I mean, it's got to feel really good for you guys to be back on top of the box.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, you come out with a new car, and I mean, you've been in it before, so come out with a new car, and there are struggles. You got to learn the car, you got to learn what it can do, you got to learn its faults and weak points. But I think we finally got the car dialed in, and it's working. The car is dialed. Our shocks are working great. Obviously, Polaris gives us an awesome platform to work with. It's just getting the bugs worked out and making sure that you and the machine get along. And man, it's like I said, it's pretty wicked how fast these things have got. So, like I said, we've been in it since the beginning. I think we started racing for Polaris in 2007, and man, it's been a wild ride for sure.
Yeah, well, and you just said how fast they've gotten, and just the stock units have got ridiculously fast. But the race cars, and I didn't realize it, until I built mine. They are it's just silly fast. I mean, that's got to, you look back at what you were racing 10 years ago to what you're racing now. There's got to be no way you fathomed you'd be going this fast in a UTV.
Yeah, no, absolutely not, man. I mean, we're maxing out 50, 60 miles an hour. Now we're up in the 90s now, and the average. What blows me away is the average speeds. We'd be lucky if we could average 25 miles an hour at a race. That was a good race for us. back in the day, it was, if you finished the race, you won the race. Now we had almost 60 UTVs, I think, at Parker, and I think 7 DNFs is all. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. So obviously, like I said, it goes back to the platform. The platform is just that much better now. The vehicles are getting so much better straight from the factory, and then obviously factory support behind all these racers and everything it's making it tough to go out there and win some races but it's a blast. We love doing it and wouldn't change it for nothing.
Yeah, well, that's what you mentioned, the factory support. And, I think it was really interesting for me because I was an outsider looking in, even though I was a Polaris ambassador. I've raced trophy trucks, I've raced everything, and you may know manufacturers and things like that. But me going into UTV racing kind of semi-full-time at this point, but with a factory program and the backing of Polaris, like I never realized how much that factory backing meant until I got it. And now that I have it, just having that support and knowing I've got guys on the phone to call and pick their brain and I know even, other teams, I know like you guys and Sims and Guthrie's and it's all, it's definitely a family. And if I've got a problem, I know I can make a call and I've got support there, but for the guys that aren't there at that level, it's to me, it's just been mind blowing. You know what I mean? The support that Polaris provides to their teams and their athletes.
Absolutely. And we refer to our racing community as a family for sure. We go and after the race, we're going and hanging out at other people's camps and seeing them in hotels or whatever it might be and getting to hang out with them and spending time with them outside of the race course. Which is for me, that's a huge thing. I don't want to go to a race and have everyone just hate each other and not get along because we're competitors. We can all get along. We all have a great time doing it. And, I would much rather beat someone on the race course than in the pits or anything. So we don't have any problems giving anyone any support or advice that we can, and let's put it out on the race course and let's see how it goes. Let the better driver do it. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, looking at this last weekend's race, I know that was when I DNF'd on the first lap, and it was one of those where this was a test race for us. So I probably could have continued, but we even in 30 miles, we learned what we wanted to. We learned that our car was competitive. It can run the speeds that the front runners run. And we were looking at some of the marquee events, running at those. So we just kind of pulled the plug. But when I was sitting there at Midway, I got to sit down and talk with your dad. And I know at that point, you'd come around on your second lap and you were right there in the dust. You guys had one epic battle. How did that whole thing fold out? Because you guys were neck and neck until lap number 3. And, and I didn't get the full story on how you ended up pulling out the win, but what happened there?
So basically, yeah, it was, we kind of took a back seat kind of right off the get go. So we ended up losing the whole shot by, that first jump that's right out of that little python there off the start line. We were basically, our front tires were in line with his back tire. So we just barely lost the whole shot, which was for me pretty impressive. Our car's pretty heavy, so I was actually, believe it or not, I was actually pretty happy with that. So we just kind of settled in and kind of did our thing for the 3 laps. We just kind of let everything take its course. We kind of took a back seat, kept them in our sights and made sure that we knew where everyone was on track. But basically just kind of applied pressure where we could. We were able to catch him in some of the rough stuff and kind of gain a little bit of ground on him in some areas, and he'd pull away from us in other areas. But we always kept him in our sights. And coming in on the start of basically 25 miles into lap 3, I think he actually had a mechanical failure and had to kind of somewhat limp into that midway pit there. And I was able to get around him just before that, a couple miles outside of that pit. And we actually got a little bit of clean air because obviously we were fighting his dust pretty much the whole time. And we had just gotten into lap traffic too. People are down or whatnot. So we were able to get a little bit of fresh air and kind of keep our lead. We got backed off the pace a little bit once we got around him just to kind of figure out where we were. And then we turned it back on right at the very end to make sure that no one was going to creep up from behind and steal it from us. So it was a pretty smooth race for us. We virtually had no problems at all. We just kind of kind of did our thing and just brought it to the finish line, and it was pretty awesome for us. So it's a feeling that we don't always get. Obviously, it's pretty rare that you don't have to mess with the car during a race. So it's pretty exciting when your car is dialed in enough to not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's for certain. And looking at 2018, obviously you got the points lead and best in the desert. I know you guys are one of the few teams that you've done both score and best in the desert, pretty much full time both series. And what are the plans for this year? You're going to do. I know it's going to be tough this year to do both series, right? Because I think San Felipe and the UTV Worlds overlap. I mean, what are the plans for you guys?
Yep. So we're going to be at both again. We're committed to doing both series. We're going to race full score and best in desert series. I'm going to be building a new car for Worlds. It'll be pretty much just for that race. So it'll be basically just a somewhat of a new car. It's not won't probably be a complete car just because time frame, but it'll be a pretty sweet build. So we're going to do that. We're going to get that knocked out, and then we'll have another guy race for us at San Felipe, and I'm actually going to race Worlds. So that's kind of our plan as of right now. And but we'll be in the points for both series again. So hopefully it works out in our favor this year, and maybe we can win a couple more races than what we did last year. And man, hopefully get that championship. That's what we're shooting for. We like racing for championships. So.
Yeah, well, and that's what's funny, man. The competition level is so just ridiculous right now in UTV racing. And I know we only got about 30 seconds left, but I've had a lot of guys ask me, hey, do you feel like it's a step back going from trophy truck to UTV? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, the competition level is so crazy in UTV, and the speeds are getting so ridiculous. Like, I don't know, man. It's just madness right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to see the rest of the guys out there that are pushing hard. And like I said, we got a target on our back, but that's, I'd rather be there than the other way around. So I'm stoked to be part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congrats on the win, man. Say hey to your dad for me, and look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Absolutely, we'll do. We'll see you at the Mint.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye.
And we'll be back after this on the Down or Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Network. Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Houde here, and man, we have a lot to talk about in this segment. Before we get to that, I got to tell you about our good friends from AMSOIL. You know the importance of using good synthetic oil in your power sports equipment, but what about your daily driver? Today's downsized turbocharged engines run hotter and create more engine-damaging contaminants than ever before. Yesterday's motor oil just doesn't cut it in today's engines. That's why you need AMSOIL synthetic motor oil. Teams in Monster Energy Supercross, AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, and more rely on AMSOIL synthetic motor oil to protect their engines on the track and in the haulers that get them to the races, and so should you. AMSOIL Signature Series synthetic motor oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by leading industry standards. It provides the next level protection today's demanding engines need to keep running for years. Go to AMSOIL.com/dirty to find out how AMSOIL synthetic motor oil keeps your vehicle running great tomorrow. That's AMSOIL.com/dirty. And tell them Jim Beaver and Amy Houde sent you. Yeah, so we had a lot happening. Before we get to talking to some Supercross, and I know Amy and I really, really want to talk some Supercross, and we just had some massive breaking Jason Anderson news during the show that we will get to, but we also have Dakar Rally happening, and it's very rare I get to talk about Dakar Rally, like literally once a year, so I'm very excited about this. But we had today's stage number 4 finished up. Sebastian Loeb walked away with that. Carlos Sainz in second, Stefan Petterhansel in third, and it looks like Petterhansel is currently your overall leader for the Dakar Rally, followed by Loeb, followed by Carlos Sainz. But big news out of Dakar coming out of the car and truck category. Obviously, our good friend Bryce Menzies finished, I think, took a podium in the very first leg, and then stage number 2, he and Pete Mortensen had a very bad crash. Crashed out of the rally. It was a high-speed end-over-end crash at 100 miles an hour, and definitely scary. Pete broke his ankle. They're out of the rally. Definitely a bummer for us. I guess us North Americans, looking for a potential podium at Dakar. So definitely a heartbreaker for Menzies and Mortensen. Sounds like they will be back, though. So looking forward to that. Looking at motorcycle rankings right now, I haven't even looked at these yet. Bike, I was just trying to see where our boy Toby Price was at, and it looks like through 4 stages, Mr. Price is sitting in 6th. Looks like he is not too far down, though. He's only 10 minutes down, so I think Toby can pull it out. We got Adrian Van Beveren, French rider. He is at the top of the box right now, but I don't know. Toby's got about 10 stages, 11 stages. I think he can pull it out. What do you think, Houde?
Oh, of course he can. Absolutely. I mean, that's a extremely grueling race, though. But if anybody can do it, he can. I mean, we've seen him be so dominant and win these crazy events in the past. So I wouldn't put it past him at all.
Yeah, and I guess you American listeners looking for the top American contingent, Ricky Brabeck, he is in 12th. A lot of you know him from scoring Best in the Desert. He's sitting in 12th, and he's only 20 minutes out of the top spot. So with 10, 11 stages left to go, I mean, he's still got a solid chance at taking a podium. Anything can happen. And then other Americans, we got Mark Samuel, Shane Esposito down there in 48th and 49th. But, yeah, those are kind of your Dakar updates. Amy and I will bring you some more next week, and the week after that rally is so ridiculously long. We'll be talking about it the next couple of weeks, and I don't know, we'll have to get Toby back on air after the rally. I always like catching up with Toby, and it's been 2 years since you and I have had him on air? A year and a half? It's been way too long.
Probably a year and a half. It hasn't been very, very long, but it was funny. We were kind of chatting on Instagram about posting up our luggage and what we're packing for our trips, and he had all these bags and everything that he was packing up for the Dakar, and I said, just wait till you see my luggage I'm packing for my Monster Jam tour. I think I had 2 bags of just shoes only.
You had 2 bags, but you're gone for like 5-6 months though. So I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I will defend you on that. You're gone for a long time, so you got to bring a ton of crap.
And I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And I am a woman.
So I will defend you on that one. I got your back on that. You take whatever you want, Amy Houde.
Yeah.
So so Supercross Anaheim kicking off. Before we get to that, I guess Jason Anderson, though, got to talk about him. Obviously, he took a podium this weekend, finished second. Looks like Rockstar Husqvarna signed him to a long-term extension today. So I guess congrats goes out to El Hombre, who we're going to see in Supercross for the next couple of years. I guess that's always a good thing if you're Jason Anderson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jason's always been one of my good homies. I know he struggled a lot, but I knew him like years ago, and it's been really cool just to watch him and like kind of maintain his like personality. I mean, he's one of the personalities of the Supercross world. Yeah, you have to, right? Like the El Hombre. If you ever like watch his Instagram, like it's hilarious. He always posts like real stuff. Like I just love his realness. He lays it down for sure.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys too. Like. It's so weird because like I see him, he's a front runner. He's a top 5 guy. He's arguably a top 3 guy. You know, even when Dungey was around, he's there, but he's like the guy that I feel like he's still a sleeper for some reason. And there's no reason for him to be a sleeper, but I feel like everybody wants to talk about like Tomac and Roxon and Marvin, and it's like they forget about Jason Anderson, you know? And like I feel like he hasn't got his I feel like he hasn't got his due. Like here's a guy who, you know, he can win on any given weekend, but it's like people somehow forget about him and he's the dark horse. And I don't know, what do you think that is?
I don't really know. I think it's honestly because he's not very like confrontational. Like he's, you know, a bit of a quiet guy. Like he does stay a little bit in the background and stuff like that. And he's not, you know, I don't know. People like Jason Anderson. That's why. So I don't think anybody like has something negative or something overly good to talk about. Like he just flies through the radar because he's just so rad. And I think you have a lot of these people who, you know, like the Tomacs and the Barshas and the Dungeons where it's either one extreme or the other. Like you either love him or you hate him. You can't hate Jason Anderson. Like, let's be honest. You can't. He's so cool.
He's kind of got he's so rad. You know
what I mean? People love to talk about like controversy, and people love to talk about, you know, if someone's leading and they don't like them, they make huge posts and talk about why they suck, and then you got their super defenders who come to them, and you know, like you have these extreme polar opposites. But then, you know, it is the guys like Zach Osborne, for example. He flies through the radar, right? Like he really, really does, because everyone loves Zach Osborne, and so you can't really have too much negative things to say about him, other than his extremely dirty pass at Monster Energy Cup or the last round of Monster Energy. But I mean, that's the coolest race I've ever seen in my life. So now people are going to be talking about Zach Osborne, and guarantee it, right? The second that you make that like dramatic, you know, you become the villain, is when people start talking about you.
Yeah. Well, and Osborne, I forgot about that. Then you mentioned it, and immediately it's like flashbacks. And I'm like, you know, I got to give him credit, man. There was a championship on the line. He was leaving it all on the track. Like, you cannot, like, at that point, who cares? It's the last race of the year, the last corner.
Yeah.
Who cares if you get disqualified? If you don't, you're winning the championship. If you do, at least you can say, hey, I gave it my best shot. Like, I don't know. A guy like that, like, I'm a fan of Osborne because of it. Like, he left it all out there. Like, you gotta respect that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, looking at this, I mean, like, I don't know. I've got mixed emotions. We'll talk 250s in a minute, but 450s, we're already kind of down that rabbit hole, so we might as well talk about 450 results. Marvin, I mean, he made a statement at Energy Cup. He came out. He made a statement at A1, like, hey, look, I can carry the banner. Dungey retired. Like, look, I can be that guy. I can be the face of KTM Red Bull. And I think, like, we've seen that. The one thing that I I didn't see that I thought we'd see. Like, I thought Roczen, and maybe he's still recovering a bit. Like, I thought he was going to have a chip on his shoulder, and I thought he'd win by half a lap at A1. Like, I seriously, in the back of my mind, I'm like, Roczen is going to just dominate and destroy everybody. And I don't know. I didn't see that, and I thought I would. I don't know. What are you thinking about all that?
I'm very confident and comfortable, and then to feel like I'm talking as if I'm him. But I am okay with the 7th place. I mean, he came out and got one of the fastest lap times, in qualifying. So, boom, right away, we know the speed is there. I mean, why go, balls to the wall the first race out when he's coming back from this super injury, which anybody else would never probably even look at a dirt bike again, never mind line up at A1. So props to him for that, right? You have to like look at the big picture. I feel people who want to judge his 7th place, the guy shouldn't even
fourth
been
place,
riding a
fourth
dirt
place,
bike.
Hood, fourth place.
Yes, sorry, yes, even better. Oh my god. But I mean, the guy shouldn't even be on a dirt bike. I mean, he's like robo-armed right now. Like, he's half machine. Well, not half, but he's like an 8th machine. So I think that this he can only go up from here. It's a long season, especially in 450s, man. Like, it's a marathon, okay? And if you set the bar too high, you kind of got to stay there, right? So he's going to be able to build off of this each and every weekend in and out, and reserve his, he's going to have some stuff on reserve. So a lot of these people are going to kind of come out through the woodworks really hot and strong, and I think they're going to get a little burnt out, or they're going to make a mistake. And we've seen his foot, I don't know if you watched the race, but his foot slid off the split peg, and like my heart dropped and sunk. Like, I just want, if he can finish the season like healthy and happy and like in top 3, I'm stoked. But I do think that we're going to see him turn it up come mid-season, once he solidifies a nice comfortable base. But it's going to take a while, and I think he's smart. He's making extremely smart decisions for longevity in this 450 2018 Supercross Series. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, and we got to mention Eli Tomac. I just read an update on him. Obviously, he got the whole shot. He was leading, and then had a scary get off. Got back on his bike. He ended up pulling off. Sounds like he's not going to miss any rounds, though. He DNF'd that one, but he's got a bruised shoulder. But it doesn't sound like it's anything like catastrophic. I think he's just, it was banged up pretty bad that round, but it's not like it's anything that's going to cause him to miss any time, which I guess is a good thing, because it's fun to have him in the mix up there with Roczen and Marvin and Anderson and, and the rest of the guys. So definitely a scary, I guess, off for Tomac, but sounds like he's going to be all right. Got to give a shout out. We've had him as a guest in the past on air, but Matt Basilia finished 19th on a 450, qualifying in for the 450 main. Here's a guy who we haven't heard about in like a year or so. For his reemergence, just qualifying for the main event, I think that was pretty solid for him.
It's okay. I mean, it's 450s. It's unless you're kind of cracking that top 10, Jim, it's there's so many talented riders. You get a little bit overshadowed if you're not in the top 10, even, from a fan perspective and from a team's perspective. They want you in that, top, they want you in that top bracket for sure. And, but again, it's A1. You could have some building blocks. There's some people who didn't do as good as that as well, but I know Matt has more in him for sure. I believe he's a top 10 450 rider. Absolutely. So let's see it happen.
Yeah. How about our boy CR22 back running independent? He folded up like, what was it, 2-2 Motors? I don't get this. Chad Reed folded up.
He bought his dirt bike, Jim.
What's that?
He went out and bought a dirt bike for himself to race. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but what I don't get was like he had this amazing, CR22 Motorsports. He ran under his own kind of super team for like quite a few years. Goes to Yamaha for 2 years. Closes his social media accounts, closes up shop, and then here we are 2 years later, and we're back with 2-2 Motorsports. Like, come on, Chad. Like, I don't know. Like, but I think it's rad. I'm glad to see him out there. He finished 15th. I don't know. It just like I don't know. What do you make of all? Chad Reed is obviously a fan favorite at this point. Everybody loves the guy. Like, what do you make of everything? I think it's so rad that he bought his own dirt bike and is racing. But I don't know. What do you make of this?
what I make of that, and let me give you some heartfelt truth, and I think you can justify this, if you take it from my perspective. The fact that the dude went out and bought a dirt bike, closed his social media, whatever, cruising around in 15th place, means he's out there because he loves what he does, and he loves riding his dirt bike, and he's a genuine lover of motorsports and motocross and supercross, and I love that. And I think we've seen this hard onion peel away the layers, and we're at this soft center where you get the trueness that is Chad Reed, who comes from this like rough exterior, from being the bad boy and being the lippy, like the talker in the back of the pits, causing all the drama, to being hated, to being loved, to the family guy, to now the enthusiast who just genuinely loves racing. Kind of like we saw at the end of Kevin Windham's career. He wasn't doing the best, but he was out there because he loved what he did. And I applaud James Stewart didn't even do this, okay? So, I applaud Chad Reed for being out there and showing us that he's a, true ambassador of the sport and loves what he does, and it's so cool. And I think actually after this weekend I have a new respect for him again. Every year I kind of like feel different about him, but now I think that he just wants to be out there because he likes it. Like, he doesn't want to retire. He doesn't want to go out on a high note. He wants to still go and race. Like, that's awesome. Don't you agree?
You know what? I never looked at it that way, and I completely, wholeheartedly agree with you. And I think that's a good spot.
Chad, I hope you're listening, because I totally just changed everyone's mind about you. Because I get you, man. I get it. I go around and cruise around, maybe not in first place in ladies class anymore, because I just want to go out and race. I have a bit of a harder time with it. I'll probably go and have a hissy fit in the pits afterwards. But, I'm still going to go because I love racing. So whether I win or lose, whether I'm on a dirt bike. And I did have to buy a dirt bike last year, so I totally get it.
All right. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We're wrapping things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, wrapping up today's show where we had 3 epic guests. Big thanks to Shane McElrath, Brandon Schueler, and Kyle Pallin, some winners and podium finishers on the weekend. Always fun to get a different mix of guys. I don't know. We'll put you on the spot here, Hood. If you had to pick one guest that you really want us to interview in the next month, who would it be?
I want to get Adam on, Adam Cincerello.
Oh,
I
yes.
him to get him on before. But, he was not in a good place, and he texted me that and told me, once he gets his stuff straight, and I'm like, come on, podium this weekend. Obviously, your stuff's straight now, bud. Let's get you on. And also, I love Toby Price.
Yes.
He was so hilarious. He's so great. I cannot understand him. We need a translator to have him on.
He gets so excited you can't understand him. When he talks.
I know, I love it.
When he's just talking like in normal conversation, you can understand him. Then he gets excited, and it's like the accent comes in, and it's like it's over. It's game over. It's like, oh, Toby, you lost me.
Yes.
I agree.
Know. So those are the guys, because I love them. And then we also had on, remember we had that older gentleman from, it's escaping my mind here, from drag racing.
Clay Milliken.
Yes, the Milliken. His son used to drive monster trucks for Monster Jam.
I had beers with Milliken in Indy at PRI.
He was one of the greatest interviewers I think we've ever had on this show. I could listen to him talk, Jim, for years. He needs to have his own TV show or his own radio show because he has such great stories and the way he talks and his expressions. And, man, I was sitting in silence because I love listening to him. And his accent was so super Southern. Oh, wow. He was fantastic. One of my favorite interviewers of all time.
Yeah, he was rad. I agree. That's some 3 solid ones, man. We'll definitely have to work on getting them lined up for sure. We got more Supercross coming up this weekend. Obviously, Amy's got Monster Jam this weekend. X Games 2 weeks out. Where are you headed this weekend?
I am headed to Greensboro, North Carolina. I have 2 shows. I'm really excited. And our good buddy Josh Herron is going to be coming to watch my show, and I'm excited for it. I need a little bit of support. Being down here in America, my family and friends can't necessarily hop on a plane and fly to each one of my rounds. So I'm really happy to have, my friends in other industries come and support me. So I'm stoked to have Josh there to come cheer me on, and I guess I'm going to have to step it up a little bit for this weekend.
Awesome. Yeah, Josh, solid dude. Looking forward to hearing about how this weekend goes. But big thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Casey Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish Impact, Optimus, GenuinePolarisParts.com, Terracross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Don't forget AMZO. It's AMZO.com/dirty and GenuinePolarisParts.com/Jim Beaver. You can use the coupon code JBDirtfish at Dirtfish Rally School for 15% off. Make sure and subscribe to both this show and Project Action on iTunes. And you can give me a follow at Jim Beaver 15 on social media, and Amy is at AmyHood71. We are going to see you guys next week here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.